My dear Belle.
You are the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. Nobody deserves you.
I've come for my father.
He's a thief.
I will escape, I promise.
That's all he ever does.
Unless there are remains at least four.
Welcome to Z Cineplex, say your ultimate entertainment destination. Welcome to Z Cineplex, the home of entertainment, creativity, and cinematic excitement. Our channel is dedicated to bringing viewers a rich collection of engaging content that celebrates the world of movies, storytelling, and visual entertainment. Whether you're a passionate film enthusiast, someone who enjoys discovering new cinematic experiences, or simply looking for high-quality entertainment, Z Cineplex is designed to be your go-to destination. We strive to create content that is informative, enjoyable, and engaging for audiences of all ages, offering a unique blend of movie-related features, entertainment updates, insightful discussions, creative videos, and much more. Every upload is crafted with attention to quality, ensuring that our viewers receive an enjoyable experience that keeps them coming back for more. At Z Cineplex, we believe that cinema is more than just watching films. It's about experiencing emotions, exploring stories, appreciating creativity, and connecting with people who share the same passion for entertainment. Our mission is to build a vibrant community where movie lovers and entertainment enthusiasts can discover exciting content, share their opinions, and stay connected with the latest trends in the entertainment industry. We are committed to consistently improving our content, embracing new ideas, and delivering videos that entertain, inform, and inspire our growing audience. Whether you're here for movie highlights, entertainment discussions, reviews, cinematic moments, or fresh creative content, Z Cineplex promises an enjoyable journey filled with excitement, quality, and unforgettable entertainment. Join our community by subscribing, turning on notifications, and becoming part of the Z Cineplex family as we continue to explore the fascinating world of cinema and entertainment together. Thank you for your support, and welcome to Z Cineplex, where every video brings entertainment to life. Beauty and the Beast is a 2017 American musical romantic fantasy film directed by Bill Condon from a screenplay by Stephen Boski and Evan Spiliotopoulos, produced by Walt Disney Pictures and Mandeville Films. The film is a live-action and CGI reimagining of Disney's 1991 animated classic, which itself was inspired by Jean-Marie Le Prince de Beaumont's timeless French fairy tale. The film stars Emma Watson as the intelligent and independent Belle and Dan Stevens as the cursed prince transformed into the Beast, alongside an ensemble cast featuring Luke Evans as Gaston, Kevin Kline as Maurice, Josh Gad as Leif, Ewan McGregor as Lumatilda Diarasisri, Ian Coven as Cogsworth, Emma Thompson as Mrs. Potts, Stanley Tucci as Maestro Cadenza, Audra McDonald as Garderobe, and Gugu Mbatha-Raw as Plymouth. Combining live-action performances with cutting-edge visual effects, motion capture technology, and photorealistic CGI, the film faithfully recreates the beloved story while expanding its mythology, character backstories, and musical score with several new songs composed by Alan Menken and Tim Rice alongside the iconic Academy Award-winning music from the original animated film. Development on the project was officially announced by Disney in April 2014, with Bill Condon attached as director following his work on musical films such as Dreamgirls. Casting took place throughout early 2015, with Emma Watson and Dan Stevens leading a star-studded ensemble. Principal photography was conducted primarily at Shepperton Studios in Surrey, England, between May and August 2015, utilizing elaborate practical sets, extensive visual effects, and large-scale motion capture production. With an estimated production budget of approximately $255 million, the film became one of Disney's most ambitious and expensive live-action remakes. Beauty and the Beast held its world premiere at Spencer House in London on February 23, 2017, followed by its North American premiere at the El Capitan Theatre in Hollywood on March 2, 2017, before being released theatrically in the United States on March 17, 2017, in conventional, 3D, IMAX, Dolby Cinema, and premium large-format theaters. Upon release, the film received generally positive reviews from critics, who praised the performances of its cast, particularly Emma Watson and Dan Stevens, for the lavish production design, faithful adaptation of the beloved animated classic, memorable musical numbers, costumes, and groundbreaking visual effects. Although some reviewers criticized its reliance on the original film and certain CGI elements, the film was a massive commercial success, grossing over $1.266 billion worldwide, making it the second highest-grossing film of 2017, the highest-grossing live-action musical film at the time of its release, and one of the highest-grossing films in cinema history. It remains among Disney's most successful live-action adaptations and was nominated for Best Production Design and Best Costume Design at the 90th Academy Awards, while also receiving numerous additional nominations and awards recognizing its technical achievements, music, and artistic craftsmanship. In a lavish castle deep within the French countryside, a handsome but arrogant young prince lives a life of luxury, caring little for the suffering of others. One stormy winter night, an elderly beggar woman arrives at the castle gates seeking shelter from the cold, offering the prince a single enchanted rose in return for refuge. Repulsed by her aged appearance, the prince cruelly turns her away despite her pleas. The beggar woman then reveals herself to be a powerful enchantress, exposing the prince's lack of compassion. As punishment for his selfishness, she transforms him into a terrifying beast and places a powerful curse upon the castle. Every servant and resident is also enchanted into living household objects including candelabras, clocks, teapots, wardrobes, feather dusters, and pianos, while everyone who once knew them mysteriously forgets they ever existed. The enchantress leaves behind the enchanted rose as the symbol of the curse. Before the final petal falls, the beast must learn to love another and earn that person's love in return. If he fails before his 21st birthday, the curse will become permanent, condemning him and everyone in the castle to remain trapped forever. Many years later, in a quiet provincial village, Belle is regarded as intelligent, kind-hearted, and fiercely independent. Unlike the other villagers, she prefers reading books and dreaming of adventure rather than conforming to traditional expectations. She lives with her widowed father, Maurice, an eccentric inventor and artist who encourages her curiosity and creativity. Despite the persistent attention of Gaston, a handsome but vain former soldier and celebrated hunter admired by nearly everyone in the village, Belle repeatedly rejects his marriage proposals, recognizing his arrogance, narcissism, and lack of genuine character. Gaston, unwilling to accept rejection, becomes increasingly determined to make Belle his wife. While traveling to a local market to showcase one of his inventions, Maurice loses his way in the forest after his horse, Philip, becomes frightened. Chased by a pack of wolves, Maurice stumbles upon a mysterious abandoned castle, where he is welcomed by enchanted servants who offer him warmth and food. Before departing, Maurice notices a beautiful rose growing in the castle garden and plucks it as a gift for Belle. The beast catches him stealing the rose and, enraged by the violation of the one object tied to his curse, imprisons Maurice in the castle dungeon. Philip escapes and returns to the village alone, leading Belle to realize that something terrible has happened to her father. Following Philip into the forest, Belle discovers Maurice imprisoned in the castle and offers to take his place as the beast's prisoner in exchange for her father's freedom. Although reluctant, The Beast accepts the bargain, allowing Morris to leave while Belle remains confined within the enchanted castle. As Belle settles into her new surroundings, she gradually befriends the enchanted servants, including the charismatic candelabra Lumiatilda Diarisisri, the cautious Mandleclaw Cogsworth, the elegant feather duster Pliomed, the warm-hearted teapot Mrs. Potts, her playful son Chip, and the gifted composer Maestro Cadenza. They all secretly hope Belle may be the one capable of breaking the curse that has imprisoned them for years. Initially, Belle and the Beast constantly clash due to his temper and inability to express kindness. When Belle accidentally discovers the enchanted rose hidden inside the forbidden West Wing, the Beast erupts in anger and orders her never to enter the room again. Frightened, Belle flees the castle on horseback, only to be attacked by a vicious pack of wolves in the surrounding forest. Despite his earlier outburst, the Beast risks his own life to rescue her, fighting off the wolves and sustaining serious injuries in the process. Back at the castle, Belle nurses the Beast's wounds, and the shared experience begins transforming their relationship. She recognizes the loneliness and sadness beneath his frightening exterior, while the Beast starts learning compassion, patience, and selflessness through Belle's influence. They spend increasing amounts of time together reading, dining, walking through the castle grounds, and sharing personal stories. During one of their conversations, the Beast reveals a magical book left behind by the enchantress that allows its readers to travel instantly to any place they wish. Belle chooses to revisit her childhood home in Paris, where she and the Beast discover the abandoned home she once lived in. There, Belle finds a plague doctor's mask and learns the painful truth about her past. When she was only an infant, her mother succumbed to the bubonic plague. Fearing that Belle would also become infected, Morris fled Paris with his daughter to the countryside, a heartbreaking secret he had never found the courage to reveal. Meanwhile, Morris desperately attempts to convince the villagers that Belle has been imprisoned by a monstrous beast, but no one believes his incredible story. Seeing an opportunity to eliminate Morris and manipulate Belle into marrying him, Gaston pretends to help rescue her. Instead, he abandons Morris in the wilderness, leaving him to die from another wolf attack. Morris is ultimately rescued by the mysterious village hermit Agath, who returns him safely to the village. Rather than helping, Gaston falsely portrays Morris as insane and persuades the local authorities to commit him to an asylum under the supervision of Monsieur Dark, threatening Belle with her father's imprisonment unless she agrees to marry him. Using the Beast's enchanted magic mirror, Belle discovers her father's predicament. Realizing Morris's safety is more important than his own happiness, the Beast makes the ultimate act of selflessness by releasing Belle from captivity and giving her the magic mirror so she can rescue Morris. Deeply moved by his sacrifice, Belle returns to the village just in time to stop her father from being institutionalized. To prove Morris is telling the truth, she uses the enchanted mirror to reveal the Beast to the astonished townspeople. Instead of inspiring compassion, the vision fuels fear and hatred. Gaston manipulates the frightened villagers into believing the Beast is a dangerous monster that must be destroyed. Recognizing Belle's growing love for the Beast, Gaston imprisons both Belle and Morris in the asylum carriage before leading an angry mob to storm the castle. Inside the castle, the enchanted servants bravely defend their home using their magical abilities against the invading villagers, while Belle and Maurice manage to escape captivity with help from Chip. At the castle, Gaston confronts the Beast, who has fallen into despair after believing Belle will never return. Initially refusing to fight, the Beast accepts whatever fate awaits him. However, when he sees Belle return to the castle, his will to live is restored. He overpowers Gaston but ultimately spares his life, demonstrating that he has truly learned mercy and compassion. Rather than showing gratitude, Gaston treacherously shoots the Beast twice in the back from a nearby rooftop. Moments later, Gaston loses his footing on the castle's crumbling gargoyle, plunging to his death below. Mortally wounded, the Beast collapses in Belle's arms on the castle balcony as the final petal falls from the enchanted rose. With the curse apparently fulfilled, the enchanted servants lose all signs of life and become ordinary household objects. Heartbroken, Belle tearfully confesses that she loves the Beast just moments after he dies. Her declaration of genuine love fulfills the Enchantress's condition at the very last instant. Agatha then reveals herself as the Enchantress who has secretly watched over the events from the beginning. Moved by the Beast's complete transformation from selfish prince to compassionate man, she lifts the curse. The Beast is restored to his human form as a handsome prince, while every enchanted servant regains their human body. The castle itself returns to its former magnificence, and the spell erasing the memories of the outside world is broken, allowing families and loved ones to remember those who had disappeared. Reunited at last, Belle and the prince embrace as the kingdom celebrates the restoration of the castle. Sometime later, they host a magnificent royal ball, surrounded by their restored friends and servants, beginning a new chapter founded not on outward appearances but on love, kindness, sacrifice, and the belief that true beauty comes from within. The film stars Emma Watson as Belle, an intelligent, compassionate, and independent young woman whose love of books and thirst for knowledge set her apart from the narrow-minded residents of her provincial French village. Dreaming of adventure and a life beyond the limits imposed by society, Belle refuses to conform to traditional expectations or accept the marriage proposals of the village's most desirable bachelor, Gaston. Daisy Dutchesmo portrays baby Belle during flashback sequences exploring Belle's childhood. Dan Stevens stars as the Beast, a once handsome prince whose selfishness, arrogance, and lack of compassion caused him to be cursed by a powerful enchantress. Transformed into a fearsome beast and isolated within his enchanted castle, he must learn humility, kindness, and the true meaning of love before the last petal of an enchanted rose falls. Stevens delivers the role through an acclaimed combination of motion capture performance and voice acting, allowing the character's emotional transformation to remain central beneath the extensive visual effects. Adam Mitchell portrays the young prince in the film's opening prologue before the curse is placed upon him. Luke Evans portrays Gaston, the handsome yet vain, narcissistic, and egotistical village hero whose reputation as a celebrated hunter and decorated veteran of the French Royal Army has made him the object of admiration throughout the village. Obsessed with possessing Belle as the ultimate prize and unable to tolerate rejection, Gaston's vanity gradually transforms into jealousy and ruthless ambition, ultimately making him the film's primary antagonist. Kevin Kline plays Maurice, Belle's loving, widowed father, an eccentric inventor, talented artist, and music box craftsman whose unwavering devotion to his daughter motivates many of the story's central events. Julian Coy appears as young Maurice in flashbacks depicting his life in Paris before fleeing the city with infant Belle following the death of his wife. Josh Gad appears as Leif, Gaston's loyal but often conflicted companion, whose humorous personality, admiration for Gaston, and gradual realization of his friend's cruelty provide both comic relief and an important character arc. Initially serving as Gaston's enthusiastic supporter, Leif eventually chooses to stand against him after recognizing the consequences of Gaston's obsession and violence. The enchanted residents of the Beast's castle are portrayed by an acclaimed ensemble cast. Ewan McGregor plays Lou Matilda Diarasisri, the charming, flirtatious, an optimistic Matilda registered tradesman who has been transformed into a living candelabra yet continues encouraging romance between Belle and the Beast while maintaining his affectionate relationship with Plymouth. Ian Cullen portrays Cogsworth, the castle's disciplined, cautious, and highly organized butler, transformed into an ornate Mandel clock, whose strict adherence to rules often clashes humorously with Lou Matilda Diarasisri's carefree optimism. Emma Thompson stars as Mrs. Potts, the castle's warm, nurturing, and motherly head housekeeper who has been transformed into an enchanted teapot and serves as Belle's primary source of comfort and guidance throughout her stay. Nathan Mack voices Chip, Mrs. Potts' curious, energetic, and adventurous young son, who has been transformed into a teacup and quickly develops a close friendship with Belle. The expanded live-action adaptation introduces several new enchanted characters absent from the original animated film. Stanley Tucci portrays Maestro Cadenzo, an eccentric, passionate, and occasionally neurotic chord composer who has been transformed into a magnificent harpsichord. Separated from his beloved wife for years by the curse, Cadenza longs for the day they can reunite. Audra McDonald plays Madame de Garderobe, an internationally celebrated opera singer and Cadenza's devoted wife, who has been transformed into an elegant wardrobe while continuing to inspire the castle with her extraordinary singing voice. Gugu Mbatha portrays Pliamet, the graceful castle maid who has been transformed into a feather duster and shares a playful romantic relationship with Lumayatilda Diarasisri, maintaining hope despite the castle's tragic circumstances. Hadi Morahan plays Agath, a mysterious elderly woman living quietly in Belle's village who secretly observes the events unfolding around the Beast and Belle. She is ultimately revealed to be the powerful enchantress responsible for cursing the prince after judging his selfishness and lack of compassion. Agath also serves as the narrator of the film's opening prologue. The enchantress initially appears disguised as an elderly beggar woman, portrayed by Rita Davis, whose performance marked one of her final screen appearances before her death, with the film being released posthumously in her honor. The supporting cast further enriches the world of the story. Thomas Patton portrays Chap, the prince's loyal valet who has been transformed into a Koltrak, while Clive Rowe appears as Qisnir, the castle's head chef, transformed into a magnificent stove. Sophie Reed, Raphael Cohen, and Carla Nella portray the village lasses, three young women infatuated with Gaston who openly compete for his attention while envying Belle's independence. Jimmy Johnston, Dean Street, and Alexis Loiset appear as Tom, Dick, and Stanley, Gaston's close friends and hunting companions who later accompany him during the assault on the Beast's castle. Adrian Schiller portrays Monsieur Dark, the manipulative and corrupt administrator of the local asylum who accepts Gaston's bribe in exchange for falsely declaring Maurice insane. Gerard Horan appears as Monsieur Jean Potts, Mrs. Potts's husband and Chip's father, while Hayden Gwyn portrays Clothild, the village fishmonger and the wife of Cogsworth, both of whom have forgotten their enchanted loved ones because of the spell. Additional supporting performances include Michael Gibson as the tavern keeper, owner of Villenove's local inn where Gaston enjoys his popularity among the villagers. Ray Fearon as P.A. Tilda Diarasisri Robert, the compassionate village priest who encourages Belle's passion for reading by allowing her access to the chapel's modest libraries. Orane as Belle's mother, Maurice's late wife whose death from the bubonic plague prompts Maurice to flee Paris with their infant daughter and Gizmo, a Yorkshire Terrier, as Frou-Frou, the beloved pet of Maestro Cadenza and Madame de Garderobe, who has been transformed into an enchanted footstool. Tom Turner portrays the king, the prince's emotionally distant father whose selfish influence contributes significantly to the prince's cruel upbringing following the death of his wife, while Harriet Jones appears as the queen, the prince's kind-hearted mother who dies from illness during his childhood. The film also features Dale Branston as Villenove's baker, Chris Andrew Mellon as the strict headmaster who disapproves of Belle teaching a young girl to read, and Vivian Perry as the unnamed mother of the village lasses. Additionally, comedian Stephen Merchant was originally cast as Monsieur Ouellet, an enchanted servant transformed into a toilet, but the character's scenes were ultimately removed from the film's theatrical release before its premiere. Development of Disney's live-action adaptation of Beauty and the Beast spanned several years and evolved through multiple creative approaches before the project finally took shape. Prior to pursuing a direct remake of the 1991 animated classic, Walt Disney Pictures had explored adapting the highly successful 1994 Broadway musical into a feature film. That version would have incorporated the stage production's expanded storylines and musical numbers, but despite years of early development, the project never advanced into production. In a 2011 interview, legendary Disney composer Alan Menken confirmed that the proposed film adaptation of the Broadway musical had ultimately been abandoned. During the same period, Disney began reassessing its strategy for adapting its animated classics following the commercial success of several live-action fantasy films, including Alice in Wonderland, 2010, Maleficent, 2014, Cinderella, 2015, and later The Jungle Book, 2016. Recognizing the growing worldwide audience for modern reimaginings of its animated library, the studio shifted its focus toward producing a faithful live-action adaptation of Beauty and the Beast rather than adapting the stage production. By April 2014, Walt Disney Pictures officially entered active development on a new live-action version of Beauty and the Beast. 2 months later, Academy Award-winning filmmaker Bill Condon, best known for directing the musical drama Dreamgirls, 2006, was hired to direct the project from an initial screenplay written by Evan Spiliotopoulos. In September 2014, novelist, screenwriter, and filmmaker Stephen Kbosky, who had previously directed Emma Watson in The Perks of Being a Wallflower, 2012, joined the production to substantially rewrite and expand the screenplay. Kbosky's revisions sought to remain faithful to the beloved animated film while enriching its mythology, adding greater emotional depth to the characters, expanding the backstories of Belle, Morris, and the Beast, and introducing several narrative elements not present in the original, including Belle's childhood in Paris, the tragic fate of her mother during the bubonic plague, the magical storybook that allows instant travel, and the new character of Maestro Cadenza. Before Bill Condon officially committed to directing the film, Disney initially envisioned a significantly different adaptation. According to Condon, studio executives first proposed a darker and more radical reinterpretation of the story, similar in tone to Universal Pictures' Snow White and the Huntsman, 2012. That early concept minimized the musical elements, with executives envisioning a fantasy drama containing only a limited number of songs rather than a traditional musical. Condon, however, believed the emotional heart of Beauty and the Beast was inseparable from its iconic music and declined to participate unless the project embraced its musical heritage. Following the unprecedented global success of Disney's animated phenomenon Frozen, 2013, the studio re-evaluated its creative direction and recognized that audiences around the world continued to embrace large-scale musical storytelling. Disney subsequently returned to Condon with a renewed commitment to producing the film as a full-fledged live-action musical, incorporating the classic songs from the 1991 film while introducing newly written material by composer Alan Menken and lyricist Tim Rice. Condon later explained that this decision allowed the production to preserve the spirit of the original while taking advantage of the realism and emotional intimacy made possible through live-action filmmaking. Sean Bailey, president of production at Walt Disney Pictures, later revealed that the project underwent nearly 5 to 6 years of development, with approximately 2 years spent as a straightforward dramatic fantasy rather than a musical. Numerous screenplay drafts were produced during this period, but the filmmakers struggled to find an approach that captured the timeless appeal of the original animated film. According to Bailey, Walt Disney Studios chairman Alan F. Horn played a pivotal role in reshaping the project by championing the decision to fully embrace Disney's musical identity. Horn argued that the unforgettable songs were one of the studio's greatest creative strengths and that audiences wanted the emotional experience of reliving the magic of the animated classic. This creative shift ultimately became one of the defining decisions behind the film, allowing Disney to blend nostalgia with modern filmmaking technology while preserving the beloved musical moments that had made the original film an enduring classic. Throughout development, the filmmakers also explored several alternate story ideas that were ultimately abandoned before production began. One notable concept involved the enchantress punishing Gaston at the film's conclusion by placing a magical curse upon him after his betrayal and cruelty toward the Beast. Although the idea was considered during early screenplay drafts, the creative team ultimately decided that Gaston's traumatic death provided a more emotionally satisfying conclusion and better reinforced the film's central themes of redemption, compassion, and the consequences of arrogance. By the time principal photography commenced in 2015, the screenplay had evolved into a faithful yet expanded adaptation that honored the legacy of Disney's 1991 animated masterpiece while enriching its world, mythology, and characters for a new generation of audiences. Casting for Beauty and the Beast was one of the film's most closely followed aspects of production, with Walt Disney Pictures assembling an internationally acclaimed ensemble that blended established dramatic actors, musical performers, and award-winning stage veterans. In January 2015, Disney officially announced that Emma Watson had been cast as Belle, the film's female lead. Watson was widely regarded within the studio as the ideal choice for the role, with Dana Walt Disney Studios chairman Ellen F. Horn personally championing her casting. Having previously served as president of Warner Brothers, Horn was already familiar with Watson's global appeal through her portrayal of Hermione Granger and the Harry Potter film series. Before joining Disney's adaptation, Watson had been attached to star as Belle in filmmaker Guillermo del Toro's planned Warner Brothers adaptation of the original fairy tale, but that project never moved forward. Her eventual casting in Disney's remake was met with widespread acclaim from both fans and industry professionals. Susan Egan, who originated the role of Belle in Disney's 1994 Broadway musical, praised Watson as the perfect choice, while Paige O'Hara, the original voice of Belle in the 1991 animated classic, expressed her enthusiastic support, stating that Watson possessed the intelligence, warmth, and charm that made her an ideal successor to the beloved character. To prepare for the role, Watson underwent extensive vocal training, rehearsed the film's elaborate musical performances, and collaborated closely with the filmmakers to portray Belle as an even more independent, intellectually curious, and proactive heroine than in the animated original. She also chose to perform many of her own musical numbers rather than rely heavily on dubbing. According to industry reports, Watson received an upfront salary of approximately $3 million, with performance-based bonuses that reportedly increased her total earnings to around $15 million following the film's extraordinary worldwide box office success. In March 2015, Luke Evans entered final negotiations to portray Gaston, the charismatic yet deeply narcissistic hunter whose obsession with Belle ultimately transforms him into the film's principal antagonist. Around the same time, Dan Stevens was cast as the Beast, the cursed prince whose emotional journey forms the heart of the story. Emma Watson personally confirmed both castings on her official social media accounts shortly after reports emerged, generating considerable excitement among fans. Stevens' performance presented unique technical challenges, requiring him to combine traditional dramatic acting with extensive performance capture technology. Wearing a specially designed motion capture suit and facial performance equipment throughout production, Stevens physically portrayed the Beast on set opposite the other actors, allowing genuine emotional interaction while enabling visual effects artists to create the character's photorealistic digital appearance. His voice and facial expressions remain central to the final performance, earning praise for conveying vulnerability and humanity beneath the Beast's intimidating exterior. Before Evans secured the role, actor Idris Elba was among those reportedly considered and auditioned to play Gaston during the casting process. Disney completed the remainder of the principal cast over the following weeks by recruiting an ensemble of distinguished actors with extensive backgrounds in film, theater, and music. Josh Gad was cast as Lef, Gaston's devoted yet increasingly conflicted companion, bringing his trademark comedic energy to the role while expanding the character beyond his animated counterpart. Academy Award winner Emma Thompson was chosen to portray the compassionate Mrs. Potts, the castle's motherly housekeeper transformed into an enchanted teapot, while Academy Award winner Kevin Kline joined the film as Morris, Belle's loving father, reimagined in the live-action adaptation as both an inventor and a skilled music box craftsman. Tony Award-winning actress Audra McDonald was cast as the celebrated opera singer Madame de Garderobe, transformed into an enchanted wardrobe, opposite Academy Award nominee Stanley Tucci, who portrayed the newly created character Maestro Cadenzo, Garderobe's husband and an eccentric court composer transformed into a harpsichord. The addition of Cadenza represented one of the screenplay's most significant expansions beyond the original animated film, introducing an entirely new emotional subplot centered on the separation and eventual reunion of the married couple. The Enchanted Castle's household was further strengthened by the casting of several acclaimed British performers. Legendary actor Ian Coven portrayed Cogsworth, the Beast's loyal but anxious majordomo transformed into an ornate mandel clock, while Ewan McGregor was cast as the charming French Mathilde, the registered trade Lou Mathilde d'Aracisserie, who had been transformed into a candelabra. McGregor worked extensively with dialect coaches to perfect Lou Mathilde d'Aracisserie's distinctive French accent and performed all of the character's musical numbers himself, including the iconic song Be Our Guest. Gudum Bathara completed the principal enchanted ensemble as Blumet, The graceful castle maid transformed into a feather duster and Lumiatilda Diaresis Ree's devoted love interest. Together, the cast blended experienced dramatic actors with accomplished singers, allowing the filmmakers to preserve the musical spirit of Disney's animated classic while giving each character greater emotional depth and realism. The film's casting was widely praised both before and after its release for balancing nostalgia with fresh interpretations of the beloved characters, rather than simply recreating the performances from the 1991 animated film. Director Bill Condon sought actors capable of expanding their roles with greater psychological complexity while honoring the personalities audiences already knew and loved. The combination of Emma Watson's modern interpretation of Belle, Dan Stevens' emotionally layered performance as the Beast, Luke Evans' charismatic portrayal of Gaston, and the accomplished supporting ensemble became one of the film's defining strengths, contributing significantly to its critical reception and enormous commercial success worldwide. Principal photography for Beauty and the Beast officially commenced on May 18, 2015, with the majority of filming taking place at Shepperton Studios in Surrey, England, where Walt Disney Pictures constructed some of the largest and most elaborate soundstage sets ever built for one of its live-action productions. Additional location photography was carried out in the picturesque village of Crinley in Surrey and the historic village of Lacock, Wiltshire, whose preserved medieval architecture provided an authentic backdrop for several exterior sequences. One of the production's most ambitious achievements was the construction of the fictional French village of the Villeneuve, named after Gabrielle Suzanne Barbat de Villeneuve, the 18th-century French author whose version of Beauty and the Beast inspired later adaptations. Built almost entirely from scratch on an outdoor backlot, the enormous village set covered approximately 28,787 square feet, 2,670 square meters, and featured fully realized streets, cottages, shops, fountains, gardens, and a bustling village square. Production designer Sarah Greenwood drew significant inspiration from the medieval town of Conques in southern France, carefully incorporating authentic French architectural styles, stonework, timber-framed buildings, and period details to create a setting that felt both historically grounded and visually reminiscent of Disney's beloved 1991 animated classic. The film's lavish production design extended to the Beast's enchanted castle, whose architecture was heavily inspired by the magnificent Château de Saint-de-Chambord in France. Rather than replicating a single historical landmark, the filmmakers blended French Renaissance architecture with Gothic fantasy elements to create a castle that appeared both majestic and melancholy, reflecting the emotional isolation of its cursed inhabitants. Massive practical interior set including the grand ballroom, the ornate dining hall, the castle library, Belle's bedroom, the east wing, and the enchanted Gardenza were constructed on soundstages at Shepperton Studios before being seamlessly enhanced with extensive digital environments and visual effects. Director Bill Condon sought to make every location feel believable while preserving the fairy tale grandeur of the animated film. For the spectacular ballroom sequence, Condon cited a prestigious international debutante ball held annually at New York City's Waldorf Astoria Hotel as one of his principal visual inspirations, influencing the ballroom's opulent chandeliers, sweeping staircases, elegant detailed copyright corp, and regal atmosphere that became the backdrop for Belle and the Beast's iconic dance. Filming with the principal cast concluded on August 21, 2015. After just over 3 months of production. 6 days later, co-producer Jack Morrissey officially confirmed that principal photography had wrapped, marking the completion of one of Disney's most technically ambitious live-action productions. Following the completion of filming, the project entered an extensive post-production period lasting well over a year, during which visual effects artists, animators, editors, and sound designers completed the film's highly complex blend of live-action cinematography, motion capture performances, computer-generated imagery, and digital compositing. Bringing the Beast to life represented one of the production's greatest technical challenges. Rather than relying entirely on computer-generated animation, director Bill Condon wanted the character to retain the emotional authenticity of a live performance. Actor Dan Stevens portrayed the Beast using an advanced combination of performance capture, motion capture technology, and traditional acting. Throughout filming, Stevens wore a specially designed 40-pound gray performance capture suit mounted on elevated steel stilts, allowing him to achieve the Beast's towering height while physically interacting with the other actors on set. The cumbersome costume enabled Stevens to establish realistic eye lines and emotional chemistry with Emma Watson and the rest of the cast. Separate higher-resolution facial performance capture sessions were later conducted to record Stevens' subtle facial expressions, eye movements, and emotional reactions, enabling visual effects artists to preserve the humanity beneath the Beast's monstrous appearance. According to the filmmakers, particular emphasis was placed on accurately capturing Stevens' eyes and facial nuances so audiences could continue to empathize with the character throughout his transformation. Meanwhile, the castle's enchanted servants including Lumiere Irisisri, Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts, Chip, Clement, Madame de Garderobe, Cadenza, Chap, and Q Eisner were realized through sophisticated CGI animation, combining detailed digital models with the performances and vocal work of their respective actors. The physical demands of filming required extensive preparation, particularly for the scenes shared by Emma Watson and Dan Stevens. Because Stevens spent much of production performing on elevated steel stilts, there were genuine safety concerns that an accidental misstep could seriously injure Watson or another cast member, potentially delaying production. To minimize this risk, both actors participated in approximately 3 months of pre-production rehearsals, carefully choreographing every movement before filming began. Their preparation was especially intensive for the film's signature ballroom dance sequence. The pair first mastered the waltz on the ground before Stevens gradually learned to walk confidently on stilts. Only after becoming fully comfortable with the equipment did he begin rehearsing the complete dance routine while elevated, allowing the final sequence to appear graceful and effortless despite the considerable technical difficulty involved. This meticulous rehearsal process enabled the filmmakers to capture one of the film's most memorable and visually celebrated moments without relying entirely on digital doubles. Following test screenings conducted during post-production, director Bill Condon chose to revisit one sequence from the musical number Days in the Sunday. Early audiences reportedly experienced confusion because actress Harriet Jones, who portrayed the prince's mother, bore a strong physical resemblance to Hattie Moorhan, who played the mysterious Agatha, later revealed to be the Enchantress. To improve narrative clarity, Condon reshot portions of the sequence before the film's theatrical release. In the original version, the prince's mother sang the opening verse of the song while Rudy Goodman portrayed the young prince and Henry Garrett appeared as the king. In the revised version ultimately released to audiences, the musical performance was reassigned to the young prince, who was newly portrayed by Adam Mitchell, while the role of the king was recast with Tom Turner. Harriet Jones continued portraying the queen, although her appearance was modified with darker hair to better distinguish her from Agatha. Due to the timing of the changes, Rudy Goodman and Henry Garrett were inadvertently credited in the film's original theatrical release despite their scenes being removed. The credits were subsequently corrected for the film's home media releases, ensuring the final cast listings accurately reflected the completed version of the film. Music played a central role in the creative vision of Beauty and the Beast, 2017, serving as both a tribute to Disney's beloved 1991 animated classic and an expansion of its celebrated musical legacy. The original animated film is widely regarded as one of Disney's greatest musical achievements, with its Academy Award-winning score composed by Alan Menken and lyrics by the late Howard Ashman. The soundtrack not only earned the Academy Awards for Best Original Score and Best Original Song, Beauty and the Beast, but also helped usher in the Disney Renaissance by proving that animated musicals could achieve both critical acclaim and mainstream commercial success. Director Bill Condon repeatedly cited the timeless quality of Menken and Ashman's music as the principal reason he accepted the opportunity to direct the live-action adaptation. According to Condon, the original songs possessed an emotional and dramatic sophistication rarely found in film musicals, describing them as the best Broadway musical of 1991. Echoing a famous assessment by critic Frank Rich, Condon believed the strength of the score provided the perfect foundation for reimagining the story as a lavish live-action musical rather than simply recreating the animated film scene for scene. His goal was to preserve the emotional power of the original music while using live-action performances, elaborate production design, and modern filmmaking techniques to give the songs renewed dramatic impact. From the earliest stages of development, Condon envisioned the project as a full-scale Hollywood musical that would remain faithful to Disney's animated masterpiece while drawing selective inspiration from the acclaimed 1994 Broadway adaptation. To achieve this balance, legendary composer Alan Menken returned to compose the film's score, once again adapting his iconic melodies while collaborating with lyricist Tim Rice, who replaced Howard Ashman following Ashman's death in 1991. Rather than directly incorporating the additional songs written for the Broadway production, Menken chose to compose entirely new material specifically for the live-action adaptation, ensuring the music complemented the expanded screenplay and newly developed character arcs. Nevertheless, the film includes a subtle tribute to the Broadway musical through an instrumental arrangement of Home, Belle's signature stage song, which plays during the sequence in which she first enters her bedroom within the Beast's castle. The soundtrack combines newly recorded versions of every major song from the 1991 animated film including Belle, Reprise, Gaston, Be Our Guest, Something There, The Mob Song, Beauty and the Beast, and The West Wing, with several brand new compositions created exclusively for the live-action adaptation. Among the most significant additions is Evermore, a powerful emotional ballad performed by Dan Stevens as the Beast after making the heartbreaking decision to release Belle so she can rescue her father. The song explores the Beast's loneliness, regret, and unconditional love, providing one of the character's most emotionally revealing moments and becoming one of the film's most acclaimed new musical numbers. Another original composition, How Does a Moment Last Forever, serves as a recurring musical theme emphasizing memory, love, and the passage of time. The song appears in multiple versions throughout the film, including performances by Kevin Kline as Morris and Emma Watson as Belle, before culminating in a sweeping end credits rendition by international recording artist Celine Dion. The third original song, Days in the Sun, expands upon the emotional histories of both the enchanted servants and the Beast, allowing each character to reflect on happier times before the curse transformed their lives. Together, these new songs deepen the film's emotional resonance while seamlessly integrating with the classic score. On January 19, 2017, Disney officially announced that Celine Dion would perform the end-title version of How Does a Moment Last Forever. The announcement carried particular emotional significance because Dion had previously recorded the Academy Award-winning pop version of Beauty and the Beast with Peabo Bryson for the 1991 animated film, a recording that became one of Disney's most iconic theme songs. Initially, Dion hesitated to accept the invitation following the recent death of her husband and longtime manager, Copyright Ill, who had played an instrumental role in encouraging her to record the original duet more than 2 decades earlier. Dion later explained that returning to the Beauty and the Beast franchise without her husband was emotionally difficult, but she ultimately chose to record the song because of the profound influence the original film had on her career, acknowledging that it had introduced her music to millions of listeners around the world and helped establish her as an international recording artist. Just days later, Disney announced that acclaimed singer Josh Groban would perform the end-credit version of Evermore, bringing additional contemporary appeal to the soundtrack while introducing the Beast's new signature ballad to a wider audience. Groban's orchestral rendition was released as one of the soundtrack's principal promotional singles and received widespread praise for its emotional depth and powerful vocal performance. The film also features a newly recorded pop version of the Academy Award-winning title song Beauty and the Beast, performed as a duet by Ariana Grande and John Legend, produced as both a tribute to and modern reinterpretation of the original Grammy Award-winning recording by Celine Dion and Peabo Bryson. The duet faithfully preserves the melody and orchestration while introducing updated vocal arrangements and contemporary production. Disney premiered the accompanying music video on the Freeform television network on March 5, 2017, shortly before the film's theatrical release. Featuring elaborate ballroom-inspired visuals and scenes from the film, the music video became a major promotional success and accumulated hundreds of millions of views across official digital platforms, further enhancing anticipation for the film worldwide. Within the film itself, the iconic title ballad Beauty and the Beast is performed by Emma Thompson in her role as Mrs. Potts, honoring the unforgettable interpretation originally sung by Angela Lansbury in the 1991 animated classic. Thompson's heartfelt rendition accompanies Belle and the Beast's celebrated ballroom dance sequence, one of the film's visual and emotional highlights. Combined with Alan Menken's richly orchestrated score, the faithful reinterpretations of Disney's classic songs, and the addition of memorable new compositions by Menken and Tim Rice, the soundtrack became one of the defining elements of the live-action adaptation. The music received widespread critical praise for successfully preserving the emotional spirit of the original while expanding its storytelling through new songs that enriched the characters and strengthened the film's overall narrative, further cementing Beauty and the Beast as one of Disney's most successful modern movie musicals. Disney launched one of the largest global marketing campaigns in the studio's history to promote Beauty and the Beast, 2017, reportedly spending approximately $140 million on worldwide advertising, promotional partnerships, merchandise, and publicity. Designed to appeal to both longtime fans of the 1991 animated classic and a new generation of moviegoers, the campaign emphasized the film's breathtaking production design, iconic music, star-studded cast, and faithful recreation of beloved scenes from the original. Disney coordinated an extensive international promotional strategy that included theatrical trailers, television advertisements, magazine exclusives, social media campaigns, red carpet events, soundtrack promotion, consumer products, publishing tie-ins, and collaborations with major retail partners. The campaign ultimately became one of the studio's most successful marketing efforts, generating extraordinary online engagement months before the film's theatrical release. The promotional campaign officially began in May 2016, when Disney premiered the film's first teaser trailer during ABC's Good Morning America. The teaser offered audiences their first glimpse of the Enchanted Castle, the mysterious Enchanted Rose, and several iconic visual elements from the animated classic while intentionally revealing very little of the principal cast. The strategy proved enormously successful, generating unprecedented worldwide anticipation. Within its first 24 hours, the teaser accumulated approximately 91.8 million views across multiple digital platforms, making it the most viewed teaser trailer in history at the time and surpassing previous records for first-day trailer viewership. Although the milestone was later exceeded by trailers for Thor, Ragnarok, 2017, It, 2017, and Avengers, Infinity War, 2018. Disney's achievement demonstrated the remarkable level of public excitement surrounding the live-action adaptation. Disney continued building anticipation throughout the summer by unveiling the film's first official teaser poster on July 7, 2016, featuring the iconic Enchanted Rose enclosed beneath its glass bell jar against a dark, elegant backdrop. The minimalist artwork immediately evoked memories of the beloved animated film while reinforcing the project's fairy tale atmosphere. The poster quickly became one of the year's most widely shared promotional images across social media platforms. The marketing campaign intensified during the autumn of 2016. On November 2, 2016, Entertainment Weekly exclusively revealed the film's first official production still on the cover of its magazine, accompanied by an extensive feature showcasing 9 previously unseen photographs from the production. The images provided audiences with their first detailed look at Emma Watson as Belle, Dan Stevens as the Beast, the Enchanted Castle interiors, Gaston, Leif, Morris, and several of the enchanted servants, offering greater insight into the film's visual style and costume design. 1 week later, Emma Watson and Disney unveiled another official theatrical poster highlighting Belle and the Beast together, further increasing anticipation among fans eager to see the beloved characters brought to life. On November 14, 2016, Disney debuted the film's first full-length theatrical trailer during another special presentation on Good Morning America. The trailer showcased numerous iconic moments recreated from the 1991 animated film, including Belle's arrival at the castle, Lou Matilda Diaras's performance of Be Our Guest, Gaston's musical number, The Enchanted Servants, the grand ballroom sequence, and the first extended footage of Belle and the Beast together. The trailer became an immediate viral sensation, amassing approximately 127.6 million views within its first 24 hours, setting a new world record for the most viewed trailer in a single day at the time and surpassing the previous benchmark established by 50 Shades Darker, 2017. The record further demonstrated the immense global interest surrounding Disney's live-action remake before it was later surpassed by The Fate of the Furious, 2017. Disney expanded its television promotion during the awards season by debuting a special television commercial during the 74th Golden Globe Awards in January 2017. The spot marked the first time audiences heard Emma Watson singing as Belle, offering a preview of the beloved musical numbers and reinforcing the film's commitment to preserving the classic songs while introducing newly recorded performances. The commercial generated significant online discussion and further strengthened anticipation for the film's release. The promotional campaign reached its climax on January 30, 2017, when Disney released the film's final theatrical trailer, combining spectacular new footage, emotional character moments, large-scale visual effects, and several of the film's iconic musical sequences. The trailer emphasized both the grandeur of the production and the emotional romance at its core. By the time Beauty and the Beast premiered in March 2017, Disney's carefully orchestrated global marketing campaign had become one of the most successful in modern Hollywood history, breaking multiple online engagement records, generating billions of digital impressions across social media platforms, and helping establish the film as one of the year's most highly anticipated theatrical releases. The unprecedented promotional effort played a significant role in the film's eventual worldwide box office success, which exceeded $1.26 billion and made it one of the highest-grossing films of 2017. Disney carefully orchestrated the release of Beauty and the Beast, 2017, as a major global cinematic event, supporting the film with high-profile premieres, premium format presentations, and several special theatrical engagements throughout the year. The film celebrated its Royal World charity premiere at Spencer House in London on February 23, 2017, in a prestigious gala event attended by director Bill Condon, producer David Hoberman, screenwriter Stephen Kowalski, composer Alan Menken, and the film's principal cast, including Emma Watson, Dan Stevens, Luke Evans, Josh Gad, Ewan McGregor, Emma Thompson, Kevin Kline, and other members of the ensemble. The premiere served as a fundraising event supporting charitable organizations while simultaneously launching the film's worldwide promotional tour. Red carpet coverage from the event attracted extensive international media attention, reflecting the enormous anticipation surrounding Disney's live-action adaptation. The film's North American premiere followed on March 2, 2017, at the historic El Capitan Theater in Hollywood, California. Hosted by the Walt Disney Company, the event welcomed filmmakers, cast members, industry executives, and invited guests, while a live stream of the premiere was simultaneously broadcast on YouTube, allowing audiences around the world to experience the red carpet festivities in real time. The Hollywood premiere further amplified excitement ahead of the film's theatrical debut and generated widespread coverage across traditional media and social media platforms. Disney had officially announced the film's theatrical release date on March 16, 2015. Confirming that Beauty and the Beast would open in the United States on March 17, 2017. The announcement came only days after Emma Watson's casting had been revealed and nearly 2 years before the film ultimately reached theaters, underscoring Disney's confidence in the project. The first public presentation of footage from the film occurred several months later during the D23 Expo in August 2015. Where Disney showcased an exclusive behind-the-scenes preview and early production materials for attendees. offering fans their first official look at the ambitious live-action adaptation. Upon its worldwide theatrical release on March 17, 2017, Beauty and the Beast debuted simultaneously in thousands of cinemas across North America and numerous international territories. The film was released in standard 2D, RALD 3D, IMAX 3D, Dolby Cinema, and other premium large-format presentations, allowing audiences to experience its elaborate visual effects, grand musical sequences, and immersive production design on the largest available screens. On February 10, 2017, IMAX Corporation announced that the film would be specially formatted with an expanded 1.90:1 aspect ratio for IMAX theaters, revealing approximately 26% more image than conventional widescreen presentations during selected sequences. The expanded format enhanced the scale of the film's sweeping landscapes, lavish ballroom scenes, and spectacular musical numbers, providing audiences with a more immersive theatrical experience. Following its extraordinary commercial success during its initial theatrical run, Disney expanded the film's exhibition by releasing a sing-along edition in more than 1,200 theaters across the United States beginning on April 7, 2017. Designed to encourage audience participation, the special version featured on-screen lyrics during the film's iconic musical numbers, allowing viewers to sing along with classics such as Belle, Be Our Guest, Gaston, Something There, and Beauty and the Beast. The sing-along presentation proved particularly popular with families and younger audiences, extending the film's theatrical longevity and further capitalizing on the enduring popularity of its Academy Award-winning songs. A similar sing-along version was subsequently released in the United Kingdom on April 21, 2017, where it likewise attracted enthusiastic audiences. As the 2017 A18 awards season approached, Disney once again returned the film to theaters through a limited one-week awards qualifying re-release, beginning on December 1, 2017, in New York City and Los Angeles. The reissue formed part of the studio's campaign to support the film during awards consideration, particularly in technical and artistic categories, recognizing its lavish production design, costume design, visual effects, music, and overall craftsmanship. The strategy helped maintain the film's visibility among awards voters during the final months of the year, ultimately contributing to its recognition with multiple major industry nominations, including Academy Award nominations for Best Production Design and Best Costume Design. The carefully planned rollout, premium format presentations, special sing-along screenings, and awards season re-release reflected Disney's commitment to positioning Beauty and the Beast as one of the studio's premier theatrical events. Combined with its record-breaking marketing campaign and overwhelmingly strong audience anticipation, the film's release strategy played a significant role in its remarkable commercial performance, helping it earn more than $1.26 billion worldwide and become one of the highest-grossing films of 2017. As well as one of the most successful live-action adaptations in Disney's history. Following its highly successful theatrical run, Beauty and the Beast, 2017, was released by Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment on digital HD, Blu-ray, Blu-ray 3D, and DVD on June 6, 2017. The home media editions featured the film in high definition with enhanced audio and video presentation, accompanied by an extensive collection of bonus features, including deleted scenes, behind-the-scenes documentaries, featurettes exploring the production design, visual effects, costume creation, and musical performances, filmmaker and cast interviews, as well as music videos and additional content highlighting the making of Disney's live-action adaptation. The release gave audiences the opportunity to revisit the film's lavish musical numbers, groundbreaking visual effects, and elaborate production design in a premium home entertainment format shortly after its record-breaking theatrical success. The film proved to be an equally dominant performer in the home entertainment market. Upon its release, Beauty and the Beast debuted at number 1 on the NPD Video Scan First Alert overall disc sales chart, becoming the best-selling home video title of the week by an margin. Its performance was so strong that the combined sales of every other title in the week's top 20 accounted for only about 40% of the units sold by Beauty and the Beast alone, illustrating the extraordinary consumer demand for the film. The release also topped the Blu-ray disc sales chart, with Blu-ray editions accounting for the vast majority of its physical media purchases, reflecting strong consumer interest in experiencing the film's high-definition visuals and immersive sound presentation. Commercial momentum remained exceptionally strong in the weeks following its debut. After briefly relinquishing the top position, Beauty and the Beast returned to number 1 on the national home video sales charts during its third week of release, demonstrating remarkable staying power in a highly competitive market. The sustained sales reflected the film's broad appeal among families, Disney collectors, and fans of the original animated classic, many of whom purchased the film to add to their home media libraries. By the end of 2017, Beauty and the Beast had generated approximately $85.1 million in domestic home video revenue through physical media sales, with more than 4.3 million units sold across Blu-ray, DVD, and other formats. These impressive figures made it the second best-selling home video release of 2017, trailing only Disney Animation's Moana, 2016. The film's outstanding performance in the home entertainment market further reinforced its status as one of the year's most commercially successful releases and extended its profitability well beyond its theatrical exhibition. To coincide with the continued growth of ultra-high-definition home entertainment technology, Disney reissued Beauty and the Beast on March 10, 2020, in 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, 4K Ultra HD Digital, and other premium digital formats featuring high dynamic range, HDR, and improved image quality. The release was launched simultaneously with a newly remastered 4K Ultra HD edition of Disney's original 1991 animated Beauty and the Beast, allowing audiences to experience both versions of the classic story with enhanced picture resolution, richer color reproduction, improved contrast, and immersive high-fidelity audio. The 4K restoration highlighted the live-action film's intricate production design, elaborate costumes, detailed visual effects, and richly textured cinematography, providing the highest quality home viewing experience available and introducing the film to a new generation of collectors and home cinema enthusiasts. Beauty and the Beast emerged as one of the most remarkable box office successes of the 2010s, grossing $504 million in the United States and Canada and $759.5 million in international markets for a worldwide total of $1.263 billion against a production budget of approximately $254 million, making it not only one of the most profitable films of 2017 but also one of the highest-grossing Disney productions ever released. At the time of its debut, the film was recognized as the most expensive musical ever produced, with its enormous budget reflecting Disney's unprecedented investment in elaborate practical sets, cutting-edge visual effects, performance capture technology, lavish costumes, large-scale musical sequences, and an internationally acclaimed ensemble cast. Despite the substantial production and marketing costs, the film's extraordinary theatrical performance quickly transformed it into one of the studio's most lucrative investments. It concluded its theatrical run as the second highest-grossing film of 2017, behind only Star Wars: The Last Jedi, while simultaneously becoming the highest-grossing live-action musical in cinematic history, surpassing the 9-year record previously held by Mamma Mia! 2008, in just 10 days. At the time of release, it also ranked as the second highest-grossing musical film ever made, behind only Disney Animation's Frozen, 2013. In addition, Beauty and the Beast became the highest-grossing March release, the highest-grossing live-action remake of all time, and one of the top 10 highest-grossing Disney films ever released worldwide. Even after accounting for inflation, the film comfortably surpassed the lifetime theatrical earnings of Disney's original 1991 animated Beauty and the Beast, demonstrating the enduring popularity of the classic fairy tale across multiple generations. According to Deadline Hollywood, after deducting production expenses, global marketing costs, exhibitor revenue shares, distribution fees, talent participations, residuals, and other associated expenses while factoring in revenues from theatrical exhibition and home entertainment. The film generated an estimated net profit of approximately $414.7 million, ranking it as the second most profitable blockbuster of 2017 and further cementing its status as one of Disney's most commercially successful live-action adaptations. The film's worldwide launch immediately established it as a global phenomenon, opening simultaneously across 56 international territories. Beauty and the Beast generated approximately $357 million worldwide during its 4-day opening frame, making it one of the largest global debuts ever recorded at the time. This included approximately $174.8 million from North America and $182.3 million from overseas markets, giving Disney one of the strongest worldwide launches in its history. The opening ranked as the second-largest global debut ever for a March release, trailing only Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, while also standing among the biggest worldwide opening weekends in cinema history. Premium format exhibition proved to be a major contributor to the film's success, with IMAX alone generating approximately $21 million from 1,026 screens worldwide, establishing a new record for a PG-rated film in the format. The release also represented the 300th digitally remastered film presented in IMAX, a milestone achievement for the company that helped push IMAX's cumulative worldwide box office revenue beyond $6 billion for the first time. Industry analysts immediately recognized the strength of the opening and predicted the film would become one of Disney's next billion-dollar blockbusters. Remarkably, within only 6 days of release, the live-action adaptation had already surpassed the entire worldwide theatrical gross of Disney's original 1991 animated classic, highlighting the extraordinary scale of its commercial appeal. The film continued its record-breaking momentum throughout the following weeks. On April 12, 2017, just 29 days after opening in theaters, Beauty and the Beast surpassed the prestigious $1 billion worldwide milestone, becoming the first film released in 2017 to reach that benchmark. It also became the 14th Disney-produced film and only the 29th film in cinematic history to earn more than $1 billion worldwide. Furthermore, it marked Disney's first billion-dollar release since Rogue One, a Star Wars story, only a few months earlier, reinforcing the studio's extraordinary dominance at the global box office. The achievement also demonstrated the continuing commercial viability of Disney's strategy of adapting its animated classics into lavish live-action spectacles, proving that audiences remained eager to revisit beloved stories through modern filmmaking technology and contemporary performances. In North America, anticipation for the film reached unprecedented levels months before its release. Advance ticket sales shattered records across major online ticketing platforms. Fandango reported that Beauty and the Beast became the fastest-selling family film in the company's history, surpassing Disney and Pixar's Finding Dory, 2016. Initial industry tracking suggested an opening weekend between $100 million and $130 million, but as release approached and pre-sales continued accelerating, numerous analysts revised their forecasts upward, with several predicting a debut exceeding $150 million. Even those ambitious projections ultimately proved too conservative. Thursday evening preview screenings generated an outstanding $16.3 million, establishing the largest Thursday preview gross of 2017, the biggest preview performance ever for a Disney live-action film, and one of the strongest preview grosses ever achieved by a family-oriented release. Approximately 41% of preview revenue came from IMAX, 3D, and other premium large-format screenings, demonstrating audiences' willingness to pay premium prices to experience the film's elaborate visuals and musical sequences. The film's domestic opening weekend exceeded virtually every industry expectation. On its opening day alone, Beauty and the Beast earned $63.8 million, including Thursday previews, from 4,210 theaters operating across approximately 9,200 screens. making it one of the biggest opening days ever recorded for a PG-rated film. Despite opening during a regular school week, attendance remained exceptionally strong. Unlike many blockbuster releases that experienced substantial increases on Saturday, the film recorded only a minimal 2% decline from Friday, indicating consistently high attendance throughout the weekend. By Sunday, Beauty and the Beast had accumulated an astonishing $174.8 million, making it the largest domestic opening weekend of 2017, the biggest March opening in history, the highest debut ever for a PG-rated film, the largest opening for a family film, the biggest opening for a live-action musical, the highest debut for a Disney live-action remake, and the largest opening weekend ever achieved by a female-led film at the time. The opening also represented career-best debuts for Emma Watson, Emma Thompson, and director Bill Condon, while ranking among Disney's strongest openings ever outside the Star Wars and Marvel franchises. Audience demographics revealed that approximately 70% of opening day ticket buyers were women, settling to around 60% across the full weekend, illustrating the film's broad appeal to female audiences while also attracting families, couples, and longtime Disney fans. Exit polling from Post-Track reported overwhelmingly positive audience reactions, with approximately 84% of parents indicating they would definitely recommend the film to other families. Following its record-breaking debut, Beauty and the Beast displayed exceptional staying power throughout its North American theatrical run. The film earned $228.6 million during its first 7 days, one of the highest first-week grosses ever recorded. It remained at the top of the domestic box office during its second weekend despite competition from Power Rangers, Life, KPS, and Wilson, declining only 48% to earn another $90.4 million. One of the strongest second weekends ever for a blockbuster of its size. The film crossed $200 million during its first week, exceeded $300 million during its second weekend, surpassed $400 million in only 19 days, and ultimately became the first film of 2017 to exceed $500 million in North America. Disney later expanded its theatrical run by releasing a special sing-along edition in approximately 1,200 theaters, encouraging audiences to participate in iconic musical numbers such as Belle, Be Our Guest, Gaston, and Beauty and the Beast. Even years later, the film continued to demonstrate remarkable longevity. During the COVID-19 pandemic in July 2020, when many cinemas relied on repertory programming due to a shortage of new releases, Disney reissued the film in 527 drive-in and traditional theaters, where it earned an additional $467,000, further illustrating its enduring popularity. Internationally, Beauty and the Beast enjoyed equally spectacular success, ultimately earning $759.5 million overseas. Opening at number 1 in virtually every major territory, the film generated approximately $182.3 million from 55 international markets during its first weekend outside North America, significantly exceeding industry expectations. Major opening weekends included China, $44.8 million, the United Kingdom and Ireland, $24.5 million, South Korea, $11.8 million, Mexico, $11.8 million, Australia, $11.1 million, Brazil, $11 million, Germany, $10.7 million, France, $8.4 million, Italy, $7.6 million, Russia, $6 million, and Spain, $5.8 million. The film established numerous local records, including the biggest Disney live-action opening in several territories and the largest March opening in numerous international markets. It remained the highest-grossing film worldwide for multiple consecutive weekends before eventually being displaced by later releases. Among overseas markets, the United Kingdom and Ireland emerged as one of the film's strongest performers. Opening with approximately £19.7 million, $24.5 million, from 639 cinemas, it established the largest opening ever for a PG-rated film, the biggest March opening, the highest debut for a musical, and the largest Disney live-action opening in the territory at the time. The film ultimately earned approximately £70 million, around $90 million, becoming one of the highest-grossing releases in British and Irish box office history while surpassing Mamma Mia to become the territory's highest-grossing musical production. Although Disney's original animated Beauty and the Beast had never enjoyed the same cultural impact in China as it had in Western markets, the live-action adaptation benefited from an extensive nationwide marketing campaign, the global popularity of Emma Watson, and strong interest among younger audiences. The film opened with approximately $44.8 million, making it one of Disney's biggest live-action launches in China. Japan, however, ultimately became the film's largest international market following its release on April 21, 2017. Benefiting from exceptionally positive word-of-mouth, Disney's enduring popularity, and the country's Golden Week holiday period, the film remained #1 for 8 consecutive weekends and concluded its theatrical run with approximately $108 million. Other major overseas markets included Brazil, $41.5 million, South Korea, $37.5 million, and Australia, $35 million. In the Philippines, the film achieved a historic milestone by becoming the highest-grossing commercial film of all time, surpassing both domestic and international releases. By the conclusion of its worldwide theatrical run, Beauty and the Beast had firmly established itself as one of the greatest commercial triumphs in Disney's history. Its extraordinary financial performance demonstrated the enduring global appeal of Disney's classic fairy tales, the continued popularity of Alan Menken's timeless music, the effectiveness of the studio's live-action remake strategy, and the universal resonance of its romantic storytelling, combined with exceptional home entertainment sales, soundtrack success, merchandising revenue, and long-term cultural impact. The film cemented its reputation as one of the defining Hollywood blockbusters of the decade, one of the most successful musical films ever produced, and one of Disney's most profitable live-action adaptations of all time. Beauty and the Beast received generally positive reviews from critics, although its reception proved noticeably more divided than that of Disney's universally acclaimed 1991 animated classic, which is widely regarded as one of the greatest animated films ever produced. Most reviewers praised the remake as an ambitious, visually sumptuous, and emotionally sincere adaptation that successfully translated the beloved fairy tale into live action while preserving the spirit, music, and romantic heart of the original film. Critics particularly admired the film's spectacular production values, lavish art direction, elaborate costumes, richly detailed set decoration, groundbreaking visual effects, sophisticated motion capture technology, and faithful recreation of many of the animated film's most iconic scenes and musical numbers. Director Bill Condon was widely commended for embracing the project as a grand-scale Hollywood movie musical rather than attempting to radically reinvent the source material, while composer Alan Menken's return to adapt his Academy Award-winning score, together with new songs written alongside Tim Rice, was viewed as one of the film's greatest strengths. The performances of Emma Watson, Dan Stevens, Luke Evans, Josh Gad, Kevin Kline, Emma Thompson, Ewan McGregor, Ian Coven, Audra McDonald, Stanley Tucci, and Gugu Mbatha-Raw also received widespread praise, with many critics highlighting the chemistry between the cast and their ability to honor the beloved animated characters while bringing subtle new dimensions to their live-action counterparts. Reviewers additionally appreciated the film's expanded mythology, including the additional backstory involving Belle's childhood and her mother's death, the Beast's tragic upbringing, and the inclusion of new musical material such as Evermore and Days in the Sun, which many believed enriched the emotional depth of the narrative. Despite these strengths, a significant number of critics argued that the remake never fully escaped comparisons with Disney's animated masterpiece. While acknowledging its remarkable craftsmanship and technical excellence, many reviewers believed the film relied too heavily on nostalgia, often recreating scenes, dialogue, camera compositions, and musical sequences so faithfully that it rarely established a distinct artistic identity of its own. Several critics felt the remake functioned more as a lavish tribute than a genuine reinterpretation, arguing that although it expanded certain story elements and character motivations, it lacked the effortless emotional resonance, narrative economy, visual inventiveness, and timeless magic that made the 1991 animated version a landmark achievement in animation. Others suggested that the live-action format inevitably sacrificed some of the expressive charm, stylized fantasy, and emotional immediacy of the hand-drawn original, resulting in a film that was technically extraordinary but artistically less groundbreaking. Consequently, contemporary critical opinion ranged from generally positive to mixed or lukewarm, with the overwhelming consensus being that Beauty and the Beast succeeded as an entertaining, visually magnificent adaptation that respectfully honored its predecessor, even if it rarely surpassed or equaled the enduring brilliance of the animated classic. On the review aggregation website Rotten Tomatoes, Beauty and the Beast holds an approval rating of 71%, based on 380 professional reviews, with an average score of 6.7 out of 10. The website's critical consensus states, with an enchanting cast, beautifully crafted songs, and a painterly eye for detail, Beauty and the Beast offers a faithful yet fresh retelling that honors its beloved source material. Meanwhile, Metacritic, which calculates a weighted average using reviews from major critics, assigned the film a score of 65 out of 100, based on 47 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. Although professional critics were somewhat divided, audience reception proved significantly stronger. Moviegoers surveyed by CinemaScore awarded the film a rare A grade on its A+ to F scale, reflecting exceptionally enthusiastic audience approval. Additional audience polling showed widespread praise for the film's emotional storytelling, nostalgic appeal, romantic chemistry, spectacular musical numbers, visual grandeur, family-friendly entertainment value, and respectful recreation of many beloved moments from the original animated feature. The overwhelmingly positive audience response translated into outstanding word-of-mouth, repeat viewings, and sustained box office momentum, ultimately helping propel the film to more than $1.26 billion worldwide, making it one of Disney's most successful live-action adaptations. Among the film's strongest champions was Leslie Felperin of The Hollywood Reporter, who described the production as a Michelin triple-starred masterclass in patisserie skills, comparing its visual richness and artistic craftsmanship to an extravagant culinary masterpiece. Felperin praised the film's breathtaking production design, dazzling visual effects, elegant cinematography, lavish costumes designed by Jacqueline Duran, and the elaborate recreation of Disney's iconic fairy tale world. She also singled out the performances of Emma Watson and Kevin Kline, praising the warmth and sincerity they brought to Belle and Morris. Felperin additionally applauded Disney's decision to portray Josh Gadslef as the studio's first openly LGBTQ-coded character in one of its major theatrical releases, considering the change a subtle but meaningful modernization of the classic story. Owen Gleiberman of Variety similarly praised the film, calling it a lovingly crafted movie and describing it as an affectionate celebration of Disney nostalgia. While acknowledging that the remake closely followed the structure of the animated original, Gleiberman admired the craftsmanship involved in translating the fairy tale into live action. He particularly praised Dan Stevens' nuanced motion capture performance, comparing his portrayal of the Beast to both the tragic protagonist of The Elephant Man and the iconic Beast portrayed in Jean Cocteau's celebrated 1946 adaptation of Beauty and the Beast. A.O. Scott of the New York Times also responded positively, praising Stevens' emotional performance and Bill Condon's graceful direction. Scott argued that although audiences already knew every major plot development, the remake remained engaging because of its sincerity, polished execution, visual elegance, and genuine emotional warmth, concluding that the film ultimately left viewers with the clean and invigorating aftertaste of pure cinematic joy. Many critics praised the remake's emotional sincerity while recognizing that it remained closely tied to its animated predecessor. Richard Roeper of the Chicago Sun-Times awarded the film 3.5 stars out of 4. Applauding the performances of Emma Watson, Emma Thompson, and the supporting cast while praising Disney's sophisticated integration of motion capture technology with computer-generated visual effects. Roper described the production as almost overwhelmingly lavish, emphasizing its magnificent choreography, elegant staging, lavish costume design, elaborate production values, and spectacular musical sequences. Mike Ryan of Uproxx likewise praised the cast, production design, visual effects, orchestral score, and newly written songs by Alan Menken and Tim Rice, while acknowledging that the film intentionally avoided dramatic departures from the animated version. Ryan argued that although the remake offered little that was radically new, it successfully recreated a beloved classic with exceptional craftsmanship and would satisfy longtime Disney fans. Nancy Chernin of the Dallas Morning News, awarding the film an A, praised Bill Condon for bringing emotional authenticity and greater thematic maturity to the story without sacrificing the warmth, optimism, and emotional power that made the original film so beloved. She argued that the remake successfully rediscovered the emotional heart of both the animated feature and the Broadway musical while adding meaningful dramatic nuances. James Berardinelli of Real Views similarly described the film as enthralling, praising its visual sophistication, emotional sincerity, elegant pacing, and ability to balance nostalgia with contemporary filmmaking techniques. Several critics considered the film's musical presentation to be among its greatest achievements. Brian Trout of USA Today praised the performances of Luke Evans, Josh Gad, Emma Thompson, and Ewan McGregor, while celebrating the spectacular staging of musical numbers including Belle, Be Our Guest, Gaston, and Beauty and the Beast. Trout reserved especially enthusiastic praise for the original song Evermore, performed by Dan Stevens, suggesting it possessed genuine potential to receive an Academy Award nomination for Best Original Song. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone awarded the film 3 out of 4 stars, calling it an exhilarating gift that paid loving tribute to Disney's animated masterpiece, even if some of the spontaneous magic unique to animation proved difficult to reproduce in live action. Stephanie Zacharek of Time described the film as wild, vivid and crazy beautiful, praising its overwhelming visual spectacle, emotional sincerity, and larger-than-life presentation. She argued that the remake successfully recreated the sense of wonder and enchantment experienced by audiences discovering the animated original for the first time. Meek Lossale of the San Francisco Chronicle similarly hailed the film as one of the cinematic highlights of 2017, praising its enchanting atmosphere, psychological depth, emotional warmth, and Dan Stevens' expressive motion capture performance, which convincingly conveyed the Beast's internal humanity beneath his monstrous exterior. Tim Roby of the Daily Telegraph awarded the film 4 out of 5 stars, applauding Bill Condon's complete commitment to traditional Hollywood musical storytelling. Roby praised the performances of Emma Watson, Ian Coven, Emma Thompson, Ewan McGregor, Luke Evans, and Josh Gad, arguing that the film embraced spectacle without irony and delivered an immensely entertaining cinematic experience whose visual extravagance and musical energy remain faithful to Disney's original vision while benefiting from modern filmmaking technology. Despite the widespread praise, several prominent critics argued that the remake struggled to justify its existence because of the enduring artistic superiority of Disney's 1991 animated classic. David Sims of The Atlantic criticized the production for adhering so closely to its predecessor that every comparison merely emphasized the original film's greater emotional immediacy, artistic innovation, and visual imagination. Sims argued that the remake became particularly egregious precisely because of its almost scene-for-scene devotion to the animated version, leaving little opportunity for genuine reinterpretation or surprise. Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune expressed similar reservations, criticizing the film's reliance on elaborate visual spectacle, frenetic editing, and nostalgic familiarity. Phillips argued that some performers, particularly Emma Watson, lacked the vocal power typically associated with large-scale movie musicals, although he praised Kevin Kline's heartfelt portrayal of Morris, describing it as one of the production's most emotionally satisfying elements. Other reviewers echoed similar criticisms regarding the film's creative ambition. Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian admired the film's visual elegance but argued that its polished presentation often felt artificial and overproduced. comparing it to a lavish Broadway touring production transferred directly to cinema. Fellow Guardian critic Wendy Ide criticized the remake for becoming ornate to the point of desperation, suggesting that its determination to replicate nearly every beloved moment from the animated original ultimately limited its creative freedom. Chris Noshalwadi of Entertainment Weekly, awarding the film a B, praised its impressive production values but felt that the newly written songs lacked the memorability of the original soundtrack and argued that the remake needed greater emotional vitality and narrative freshness. Dana Schwartz of the New York Observer likewise believed that characters such as Gaston and the Beast had been softened compared with their animated counterparts. She further argued that the expanded backstory involving Belle's childhood and the Beast's past added unnecessary narrative weight without substantially enriching the film's themes or emotional impact. Schwartz also suggested that several cast members possessed only adequate singing voices and believed stronger vocal performances might have elevated the musical sequences. Other critics ultimately offered more balanced assessments. Robert W. Butler of the Charlotte Observer described the film as big, well-designed, tuneful and finally romantic, while acknowledging that it ultimately fell short of the artistic brilliance achieved by Disney's animated masterpiece. Chris Honeysett of the Daily Mirror, however, enthusiastically described the remake as irresistible, praising virtually every aspect of the production, including its ensemble cast, lavish costumes, intricate production design, emotional storytelling, visual effects, and overall sense of cinematic spectacle. Discussion surrounding the film remained somewhat divided in the years following its release. During a 2018 interview on The Hollywood Reporter's It Happened in Hollywood podcast, Linda Wolverton, who wrote the screenplay for Disney's Academy Award-winning 1991 animated film, expressed mixed feelings regarding the live-action adaptation. Although she praised the production's craftsmanship, Wolverton admitted she was not totally thrilled with several narrative revisions because she believed they disrupted the carefully constructed mythology of the original story. She specifically questioned the decision allowing the Beast to leave and return to the castle using the Enchantress's magical mirror, arguing that the castle was originally intended to function as an isolated prison from which escape was impossible until the curse had been broken. Wolverton suggested that altering this central premise weakened the internal logic of the fairy tale and diminished the emotional significance of the Beast's imprisonment. Her observations reflected a broader critical viewpoint shared by several reviewers who admire the remake's extraordinary technical accomplishments.